I, who have judged the hearts of men for decades, will I be able to recognize when the kindness I so cherish is actually fodder for narcissistic predators to sniff out a mile away? A reflection by Judge Ōoka Tadasuke. Part. In my decades serving as a magistrate in Edo, observing the endless parade of folly and human wisdom that passes through a courtroom, I witnessed a pattern so consistent it still haunts me. Those who complain most about attracting cruel and selfish people are invariably the kindest souls who appear before me. Last season, a case was presented to me that crystallized this mystery. A cloth merchant named Hayashi, known throughout the district for his generous heart and honest dealings, trembled with rage. This was the fourth time in 5 years that he had been deceived by charming scoundrels who exploited his trust, emptied his coffers, and disappeared like the morning mist. "Honorable Judge," he pleaded, "why do these demons always find me? My brother Kenji trades in the same markets, yet no one dares cheat him. I give to the poor, I help my neighbors, I follow the path of compassion. Why does heaven punish my kindness by sending me these wolves in silk robes?" His question echoed one I had heard countless times from innocent and pure-hearted people. Meanwhile, his brother Kenji, a man of calculating coldness who had never shown mercy to debtors or beggars, conducted his business year after year without encountering a single swindler. The cruel seemed protected by their own cruelty, while the compassionate attracted predators like lanterns attract moths in the darkness. This enigma tormented me until the realization struck me with the force of lightning illuminating a garden at midnight. Narcissists, manipulators, and emotional predators do not select their victims randomly like arrows fired blindly into crowds. They are drawn to specific qualities that shine like beacons in their perpetual search for what they lack within themselves. The uncomfortable truth began to reveal itself. The very traits we celebrate as virtues, boundless compassion, self-sacrifice, the compulsion to heal the wounds of others, often mask deeper needs that make us visible to those who exploit such hungers. Consider how a seasoned fisherman reads the water. He doesn't cast his line everywhere, but studies the currents, observing the signals that reveal where the fish congregate. Similarly, emotional predators possess an uncanny ability to identify those who transmit unconscious signals of openness to exploitation. What if I told you that your kindness may not be the pure virtue you believe it to be, but a form of spiritual hunger that narcissists can detect from great distances? The desperate need to be needed to prove your worth through endless giving, to earn love by accepting less than you deserve. The most devastating realization of all, those who suffer most from narcissistic abuse are often engaged in their own subtle form of narcissism. The belief that their ability to endure mistreatment makes them spiritually superior to those who would never tolerate such behavior. Part 2. The invisible signals we broadcast like cherry trees heavy with ripened fruit, drawing every hungry bird from distant mountains. Certain souls carry invisible signs that summon the emotionally parasitic with unerring precision. In my years of observation, I have learned to recognize these signals as clearly as a tracker reads footprints in fresh snow. The person who repeatedly attracts narcissists operates from wounds so deep they have forgotten they are wounded. Perhaps as a child, they learned that love must be earned through endless giving. Perhaps they discovered that their worth lay not in simply existing, but in being useful to others' needs. These early lessons carve channels in the soul through which all future relationships flow. Watch such a person enter a room, and you will see the subtle signs, the way they immediately scan for who might need their help, how they diminish their own presence while amplifying others, the unconscious apology written in their posture for taking up space in the world. To the ordinary observer, this appears as beautiful selflessness. To the predator, it screams availability. The narcissist and the perpetual giver are two dancers performing the same tragic ballet. The narcissist believes their worth comes from being served, admired, centered. The giver believes their worth comes from serving, admiring, disappearing into others' needs. Each completes the other's pathology with the precision of a key fitting its lock. But here lies the cruelest irony. Those who call themselves empaths often carry the most subtle pride of all. I am better than others because I care more deeply, whispers their wounded ego. I am more evolved because I sacrifice myself for others' happiness. This spiritual superiority, masked as humility, creates the very vulnerability that emotional predators instinctively exploit. The truly self-sufficient person holds no more appeal to a narcissist than a river holds to one who is not thirsty. They give from overflow, not emptiness. They help from strength, not from the desperate need to be needed. Like a mountain that does not announce its presence yet commands respect simply by being, they radiate a wholeness that offers nothing for the parasite to consume. The narcissist's greatest unconscious gift is forcing you to face the uncomfortable truth about why you need to be needed, and what part of you finds secret satisfaction in being the noble victim of another's cruelty. Part 3. The shattering recognition. I remember with startling clarity the case that forced me to confront this truth in its most brutal form. A woman named Midori appeared before me for the 7th time in 8 years, each appearance concerning a different husband who had betrayed, stolen from, or abandoned her. Each man had been charming at first, then gradually revealed himself as selfish, cruel, manipulative. Honorable judge, she wept, I cannot understand why the gods curse me with such terrible fortune and love. I give everything to these men, my money, my devotion, my very soul. Why do they repay my pure heart with such cruelty? As she spoke, I watched something flicker across her face when she described each betrayal. Beneath the tears, beneath the genuine anguish, there was something else, a subtle satisfaction, as if each wound proved something essential about her nature. She was not simply unlucky in love. She was unconsciously addicted to the drama of being wronged. The moment of recognition struck like lightning, illuminating the deepest chambers of a cave. Midori was not a victim of random misfortune. She was unconsciously selecting partners who would confirm her deepest, most painful belief about herself, that she was not worthy of genuine love. Each cruel husband was evidence supporting her internal case against her own worth. But more devastating still, she had become dependent on this pattern. Being the noble sufferer, the woman who loved too much, the saint betrayed by sinners, this had become her identity. Without someone to save, someone to endure, someone to forgive, who would she be? The recognition hit me with equal force. In my own eagerness to help every soul who appeared before my bench, In my secret pride at being the wise judge who understood human suffering, was I not engaged in my own version of this same dance? This awakening brings the loneliest truth of all. Once you see how your own unconscious wounds create these magnetic attractions, you can no longer blame others for your experiences. The comfortable role of victim, with its clear moral superiority, crumbles like autumn leaves. You must face the terrifying possibility that you have been the author of your own suffering. Most devastating of all is recognizing that part of you has enjoyed the drama, found meaning in the struggle, felt special in your capacity to endure what others could not. The very story that made you feel noble, your ability to love the unlovable, was the trap that kept you bound. And so begins the most humbling journey of all, not learning to spot narcissists in others, but learning to heal whatever in yourself calls them forth like a bell summoning hungry ghosts in the darkness. Part 4. The Art of Becoming Invisible. True invisibility to predators comes not from building higher walls or sharpening one's ability to detect deception, but from having nothing they wish to steal. Like a house that holds no treasures attracting no thieves, the soul that needs nothing from others offers nothing for the emotional parasite to consume. In all my years observing human nature, I have encountered perhaps 3 souls who possess this natural immunity to manipulation. One was an elderly tea merchant who conducted business with such quiet authority that even the most silver-tongued swindlers found themselves speaking honestly in her presence. When I asked her secret, she smiled with the simplicity of spring water. "Honorable Judge," she said, "I learned long ago that my worth does not depend on others' opinions. My happiness does not require others' approval, and my peace cannot be disturbed by others' chaos. What could anyone take from me that I have not already given freely to myself?" She helped others not from the desperate need to prove her goodness, but from the same naturalness with which cherry trees offer blossoms, because it was her nature to give, not because she sought payment in gratitude or validation. When someone attempted to manipulate her through guilt or flattery, they found nothing to grip, like trying to clutch flowing water. Such people become naturally repellent to narcissists, not through hostility or defensiveness, but through complete irrelevance. The emotional vampire finds no wound to reopen, no insecurity to exploit, no hunger to feed upon. The manipulator discovers no strings to pull, for there are no strings attached to outcomes beyond their control. This transformation requires facing the most uncomfortable truth. We must release our secret addiction to being needed, our hidden pride in our capacity to suffer, our unconscious belief that our worth comes from what we endure rather than what we simply are. We must die to the identity of the noble martyr and be reborn as someone who needs nothing from the drama of others' dysfunction. When you stop broadcasting your wounds as invitations, when you cease offering your light as sacrifice to others' darkness, you achieve perfect invisibility to predators, not by hiding your goodness, but by expressing it so completely from wholeness rather than emptiness that there is nothing false left to exploit. The narcissist's hunger cannot touch what it cannot see, and it cannot see what needs nothing from it. Like shadows that disappear when dawn breaks, emotional predators simply fade away when they encounter someone who radiates the quiet authority of complete self-possession. This is the ultimate protection, not the exhausting vigilance of watching for wolves, but such total ownership of your own worth that you become as invisible to those who feed on others' doubts as a mountain is to one who seeks only valleys to hide in. When you truly know who you are, when your peace comes from within rather than from others' validation, when your giving flows from abundance rather than from the desperate hope of receiving love in return, then you discover that narcissists were never the real problem. They were merely drawn to the flickering candle of your unhealed wounds. Heal the wounds, and the predators simply disappear.